And welcome to our weekly Icarus update patch notes discussion. I'm here with Karel, so I'm gonna quickly switch over to Discord again. Hey Karel, how you doing?
No, I'm doing well, and you?
Not bad, not bad.
Good, good, good.
Another day of work done, so now it's time for a weekend of playing, hey?
Indeed.
Do,
It's
Probably do some Lego building, do some gaming, obviously. So yeah.
yeah. But before that, you have to obviously go through patch notes.
Oh yeah.
So
So
let's
we
see
are
if I
at
can.
week 148. We have some quality of life improvements. And also, next week, we're gonna get the null sector update. Yay! So we have some quality of life improvements and bug fixes that are the focus this week, as we count down to the release of the null sector. Now this week is the penultimate update before the release of the null sector. So we have focused on a bunch of quality of life improvements and bug fixes in advance of this releasing. This does include some recommendations from our community through feature upvote. We've also got a bit more insight into what to expect with next week's null sector release, and some details on how you can jump in and test it now on a temporary branch, experimental branch, if you want help us find any outstanding issues. So let's jump in and have a read. So this week is all about quality of life improvements. This week we focus on a range of quality of life improvements and bug fixes as a lead in to our planned release of the null sector next week. We generally do not release a major feature or content in subsequent weeks, and with the size of the null sector update, we wanted to dedicate more time to testing and refining it. Now, as is the case with most of our quality of life updates, many of them have come from community submissions on our feature upvote. The most effective way for you, the players, to highlight to us what you would like to see included in the game. For example, we have added flat variants of the wooden crates, craftable at tier 1 for easier stacking. You know, the crates with the slightly diagonal lid on top. You could put the next one on top of it, but it would be tilted.
Hmm.
Now, there is a new variant of the existing slanted style crate, the flat one, which you can select by using R when placing them, and then from the radial you select the flat topped chest. Then if you stack the next chest on top of it, it's a neat stack.
Okay. Interesting that they left the old previous version there if the one would be used more, and it would also be interesting to know which one is defaulted, the flat top or the slanted top.
Um, I'm not sure which one is going to be the default.
Mm.
But,
Because if you're constantly always going to have to radial to change it and then radial to change it, not that you're going to build that many, but it depends on. It's interesting that they kept the previous one if there was a complaint about it being slanted.
well, there's not a complaint about the chest itself, it's more about the stacking of the chests.
Correct. But the
Um,
complaint is regarding the chest and the design thereof.
yeah, but
So,
I'd say if you use a single chest, I kind of like the slanted style one.
hmm. I mean, it makes it feels less like Minecraft where everything is blocks. So, yeah, cool.
Exactly. So all the modules purchasable from the workshop now have their own unique icons, rather than just
Interesting.
varying colors of the stock icon they've had since release.
That's not bad. That's actually a bit more effort into the game and does make, I think the feeling should be quite interesting because it shows attention to detail, and usually those
Yeah.
things are appreciated. So,
So you had all the green modules, and you had to
yeah.
hover over them to see which one do I want to use now, which is the patcher
Oh,
module,
yeah.
and which is the
Yeah.
The carry
Now
module,
you
for
can do it just
example.
by looking at it. Yeah, that's also
Exactly.
benefits to it. That's
Yeah.
definitely a good one.
On the other hand, you now have to like learn all the icons, like which is which, and try to remember that one. But hey, you can
Well,
still
luckily it
hover
won't take
over it.
long. Luckily, it's, you know, as well as I do, that you actually only use 2 or 3 variants. So it's mostly then, yeah, this is that one, that one's that one, that one's that one. So it's not exactly rocket science.
Exactly.
But
The ones I usually use are the carry module,
mhm,
the speed module, and the pheromone
mhm,
module.
mhm.
So
No,
yeah.
exactly. So pretty simple.
We've also fixed a few bugs and done a balancing pass on the mission Relocated Recovery. That's the Zebra recovery mission on Styx, part of the patch bundle. The Zebra now have more health on normal and easy difficulty. And we have fixed some cases where the mission could get into a locked state where you were unable to complete a mission. A little bit more info about this will be below if I'm not mistaken. And we have fixed an issue introduced recently with a big resource network refactor that meant you could no longer disconnect a workstation from networks by right-clicking them with the water or electricity tools. And that is an annoying bug. You cannot. You used to be able to like with electricity tool in your hotbar and activate it. Right-click on a bench to disconnect the power network. You cannot do it anymore. It's a bug. Now you have to pick up the bench, then remove the power pack, place
Yeah.
the bench back, and then reconnect it to the power network, which is
Well, luckily that
very annoying.
works because if you sometimes you couldn't even reconnect things or power things back on, or you have to do the freaking entire line, or you know who knows what happens. So
That bug is still in effect, and I have no idea what's triggering it. I've had it a couple of times on my in my new Olympus open world, which is brand new open world, only a couple of weeks old, and not a whole extensive network, but still already ran into that issue where I had to like remove and replace a whole bunch of a whole big
lots.
part of the
Yeah.
network. So
Yeah.
not sure what's triggering that issue. But yeah, I definitely also ran into the whole you cannot disconnect and reconnect like disconnect a bench by right clicking no more. Very
Yeah.
annoying. So I'm glad I fixed that.
Yeah.
This week, Null Sector goes into beta, open beta. Now with the Null Sector planned to release next week, we will be releasing a temporary branch on Steam later today for players to test. And I reckon it's there already. Now this branch will be updated frequently as we commit fixes and changes. So there may be downloads every day. And also keep in mind, some prospects may be put in a bad state. So if you want to switch to that branch, always make a backup of your prospects. Please report any bugs in the experimental channel on Discord. Keep in mind that there may still be issues and bugs that we are fixing. And this experimental branch will not be as stable as the core game branch you're used to playing on. Now, if you want to know how to switch to the experimental, you right click Icarus in Steam, then you go to properties. In the window it will open, you select betas, and there is a little drop down box where you can select the branch you want to play with. There's a branch called Null Sector. If the branch doesn't appear, you may need to restart Steam. Keep in mind, selecting another branch will trigger an update, because it's then updating the game to the Null Sector version. And if you want to revert back to normal, in the drop down list you select the top option, and then you go back to the normal one. Again, it will trigger an update. So if you have a slow internet or a slow disk where your game is installed on, it can take some time. And again, do make a copy of your prospects folder before switching branches. Next week, we're going to get the null sector. Now, as stated in the past, we're trying something different with the null sector, specifically regarding the environment and resource scarcity. There is no map for guidance. The biomes have unique effects on prospectors, and there are very few natural resources, with some of the new missions focusing on logistics. Now, we have also aimed to provide some more narrative than we have before, with more set dressing, more interesting pre-built structures, and the inclusion of some interactable NPCs. Now, due to the new systems and complexities included, Null Sector has taken some time to release. We wanted to spend a decent chunk of time testing internally, not only for bugs, but also for the feeling of the game within the new area and during the missions. Tweaking difficulty, like making it more difficult, like more predators, less resources, all that stuff. Null Sector is definitely going to be a challenging environment. So basically, keep on making it more difficult until it becomes unplayable, and then take small steps back until the point where it just becomes playable again. That's the way to make a real challenging environment. Now, it is a very difficult region, and we have taken this opportunity to experiment with new features and approaches to all aspects of the game experience. If the system works well, we will consider using them as a template or baseline for future narrative content and expansions. Yeah, resource scarcity, definitely. Make sure you have a buffalo or a tusker leveled up, so you can have it haul a cart at a decent speed. Make sure you collect a lot of resources in the current biomes already, which you can then transfer to the null sector. Now, your support makes these updates possible. Yeah, the pets bundle, which does include the zebra rescue mission, with 20% off, or you just get like everything you don't have yet, which has a 15% off. And then we're getting to the changelog. New content, basically the flat crates. Added flat frames of the medium and the small wooden crates. Also including versions with signs and corresponding open and close animations. So chests with built-in signs. That's going to be a handy early game.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's probably tidier than that, but I'm guessing,
well, if it has built-in sign, it's easier to see which resource should go where in which chest.
No, true. I mean, currently you have little pictures of the stuff on, right? So I'm not sure if that's part of it.
But that is signs you have to make in the carpentry bench.
Yeah, okay.
These are crates you craft in your inventory. Now, if they have built-in signs, means you don't need a carpentry bench to make separate signs.
No.
This is obviously going to be nice for early game, because as soon as you're progressing a bit further in your open world, you'll make cupboards. But especially early game, yeah, definitely handy. And I like the include version with signs variant. Now, the flat wood crates is the default now for the wood crates. The old ones you
Oh,
can
okay.
still place down by selecting, by holding the R and select these, the old variant in the radial.
Okay. So that actually answered the question that I had, which one
Exactly.
would be the default, which is pretty interesting.
So yeah, flat is the default,
Default. Yeah,
but you can
makes sense.
still put down the old variant.
Yep.
Okay, fixes. He removed terminal interaction step that was auto-completing from relocated recovery, the Zebra mission. Terminal interaction. Well, they,
Terminal, yeah. So probably there's some sort of thing that you have to interact with, but it actually auto-completed.
I don't know,
So
it's been a while
uh,
since I did this mission, actually, so.
yeah, so no idea. But yeah, changed, so it's fine.
They fix a bug where zebras weren't getting their quest creature flag removed correctly upon quest completion. So, you like
That's probably
complete
the
the
bug
quest,
where
but you didn't have, you hadn't rescued all the zebras or whatever, and some of them zebras, like even after completing the quest, some of them were still marked as quest creature. That ain't good. Uh, Fix the bug where the mission could become blocked if zebras were cleaned up for whatever reason without dying. Yeah, then there is like 5 zebras to rescue. If they die, they get ticked off like, you can't rescue this one no more. And the other ones you have to like bring somewhere for them to be rescued, and then that one gets ticked off. But if a zebra disappeared without dying, then yeah, it wasn't ticked off for dying. It couldn't be ticked off for rescued because you couldn't rescue it no more. And then you couldn't complete the mission no more. So yeah, glad they fixed that bug as well. And the extra health on easier prospect difficulties. 100% extra health on easy and 50% health on medium difficulty. On hard mode, it's still the normal health for the zebra, which if you hit it with an electroshock knife and it gets shock, it dies. That's how little health they do have. I made that mistake. Like I was trying to hit a cougar, I believe, or a scorp, and then the zebra decided to literally step in front of me, so I hit it with a knife, and it died.
that's pretty flimsy.
Stupid zebra. Yeah. Fix blueprint is valid error. Besides BPQ travel. Okay, thanks. Fix exotic respiratory debuff mentioning increased food usage rather than increased oxygen usage. I don't know, exotic respiratory debuff, not sure which debuff this is. But yeah, a respiratory debuff definitely should be
Exotic
indeed
one. Yeah.
increase oxygen usage and
Yeah.
not increase food. Uh, Mentioning increase, so I reckon it was working correctly. But the tooltip, if you hover over it in your character screen, it stayed it was using extra food whilst it was using extra oxygen.
Could be. Yeah.
Fix another intermittent terrain anchor crash reported in Sentry. More for their end. Fix Panini issue on the Larkwell first person arms. Yeah, they did. Last week's Patchnotes stated they added the proper meshes for some of the new suits in first person.
Yeah.
Mountain Thames will now pause for a brief period after being reloaded before executing normal AI logic. This should prevent some cases where NPCs move outside of their enclosures before buildings navigation has finished loading. I've had it indeed where I have a pen on top of my base and you load in and then all of a sudden one of the animals is inside the base.
Yeah.
Like the animal loaded in, fell through the floor before the floor was loaded in.
Yeah, makes sense. It's the same thing as, yeah, probably where it loads the structures and support beams and the assets when you load it in. So
Yeah.
it's a timing thing.
So yeah, this should now be fixed. Good. Added icons for a reinforced glass and window. I thought they already had icons in the list, but okay. Fix a compass widget related crash that occurred when disconnecting from a server. Well, you disconnect from a server by returning to character select, and then there is no compass no more. But okay. The new flat crates have open and close audio added. Fix a bug where the containers on the purifier and the electric oxide dissolver would not update with the correct fillable amount on hover. Oh, that's annoying. Do you like, let me check how far it is, how far it's filled, and it doesn't show the correct amount. You still don't know how far, like how much is in it and how much still needs to be put into it. I'm glad I fixed that. Added a curve to the pistol and rifle animations to ignore upper additive animations to help with the hand behavior while swimming. Better blend between top and bottom half would be good, but for now third person usability of both guns underwater has been improved. Well, if you have a gun in your hand, like a hunting rifle or a shotgun, and you're swimming and you go to third person, it's the same where your hand is sticking through the gun while swimming. The same as when you wave, you know, the same as when swimming as well. So maybe that's been fixed now as well. We'll have to look. Fix a bunch of small things about how water is crafted.
Crafted?
They might mean like water as a resource used during crafting.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what I mean here. I've seen some posts about that, like the one below. Crafting water recipe will drag in the correct amount of the thermos into the crafting inventory. Now when crafting is completed, it will avoid placing it in an item that already has a crafted drink. So if you have a thermos with ice water and an empty thermos, it should not put the hot tea in the thermos with ice water, but in the empty one. Good. Field guide hid noxious crust individual items and created one encompassing item that shows all the possible noxious crust types. Yeah, don't drown us in a sea of information, just keep it like readable. Added a tag to ignore validation on item static rows for uses such as field guide pages that won't have full item setups. Okay. More field guide improves the performance of the resource network pages. Yeah, if they have to load a whole list of benches which can be hooked up to the water of power network, yeah, I can imagine that page will become a bit slower in the field guide. Tier 4 Anvil, the Foundry. Fix collision on input proxy meshes. they did something with the collision box of the foundry. Okay. More field guide allows some items that are otherwise hidden to link to other items for inventory. Right click context menu. For example, peritic crust or variants, which are not in the game yet. No, link to other items, okay. So no dead links. Fix an issue where crafting tea would place the item in the wrong thermos because cooling and warming modifiers counted as crafted alterations. Now added a boolean to ignore certain alterations when checking for priority. Again, don't put the tea with the ice water in the same thermos. Set max view distance for all primitive components in deployable base to 1 kilometer to match the client Icarus.deployable replication distance. This should give a performance improvement for servers by no longer rendering deployables beyond 1 kilometer. Well, your view distance are the distance in which things are shown is less than 1 kilometer, so sure, don't render stuff beyond that. You can't see it anyway.
Yeah, just waste compute, so.
Exactly. This one was in last week's Patchnotes as well, I believe. Remove culling distance setting on underwater mesh for lakes. Turns out it's based on the center point for the mesh. So on larger lakes, wider than X size, it stops rendering as you get further from the center.
Okay.
So now they completely removed the culling distance setting. Okay. Fix decorative paintings using unlit material, causing them to glow in the dark areas. Does this mean you can no longer use paintings as a bit sort of a light source? It was nice how they were like glowing up in the dark. I like that.
Could be, yeah.
I mean,
Making it harder.
wouldn't be that realistic, I know, but it was looking very nice.
Yeah, I mean, it would make it more visible, so because lighting indoors isn't as, bright as something, outside, so
Yeah,
it makes sense that it had a little bit of emission.
but if you had a dark room with paintings in it and the paintings
Yeah,
were like lighting up,
yeah.
it was looking very nice.
Well, to make it more visible, which is what you wanted to have technically. So
Anyway, more field guide. Set up a specific page for water containers, indicating all the drinks that you can fill them with, and linking to them from items that make those drinks. Okay, so there's a new page with like all the different teas and water variants and stuff, and ice water and such. Actually, for the water containers, so like the thermos and the canteen and all those. It will show all the drinks you can fill them with, and it's also being linked to the items that make those drinks. So the gorse flour, the cocoa, the coffee, etc. Ice. Feature lock some very old items that aren't available in game at all. Well, if they aren't available, then indeed, why are they still there? But okay. Updated the honey tea alteration to the same contains honey tea format as the others. So thermos with which contains honey tea does give the honey tea alteration if you drink from it. Yeah. field guide, link the Noxious Crust context menu to the new generic Noxious Crust entry, which was mentioned somewhere above.
Yep.
Where was it? Where was it? So I can actually highlight it. Ah, this one here. Improve map performance for Olympus and Styx for some hardware with larger prospects. Been a while since I've heard people really complain about performance when opening map. I know there was a time where for some people, but not all, if you like open the map, the game would freeze for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I had that at some point.
So for some hardware, might be AMD specific then. I don't know.
Could be.
Added helper text to the initial open world quest to guide players to the field guide. Especially nice for beginners players. So hey folks, press J and then go to the field guide and then you can see like all the info.
Usually part of a tutorial, so.
Exactly. But yeah, don't forget that mission has been there way longer than the field guide, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. In the field guide, they have updated the water container page to list all water containers. Kinda mentioned above already as well. And improved feedback on which elements in the field guide are clickable. Alrighty. Not bad. Couple of good fixes.
Yeah, I mean, my side fixes are fixes, but let's skim through the news content because that's where things might be interesting, but we already know what's going to happen next week or the week after because I'm not sure if it's guaranteed a release for next week or if it might be postponed again. So
If there won't pop up any major issues during this week's null sector branch, then
yeah,
null sector will come next week.
okay. Well, let's skim through this one then. Let's see here.
More ice mammoth stuff.
I mean, it makes sense though, because they're going to be one of your hunted animals, especially if the scarce resources. So the tusks giving a lot of epoxy, a lot of
Crossbone, yeah.
breastbone, yeah,
But
basically. So.
this ice mammoth stuff again, I think is for the next DLC, not for the null sector.
No, this is probably true.
Yeah. List of characters in the character selection menu is now ordered by last playtime. Is applicable
Yeah.
once existing characters have each been selected at least once. So no longer alphabetically, but
No, but that's
like
what I told you last time because I thought that makes sense because it's always like, yeah, I can't remember the order of the characters, and you were like, no, that's prospects. I was like, oh, I thought it was characters as well because that was just as useful because but okay, it's good.
no, that last week it was indeed the not the characters but the prospects.
Yeah, and I thought it
Uh,
was going to be the characters, and then it was like, oh, maybe I misunderstood
uh,
it initially, but it seems like if they're posting in again, then yeah, that makes sense.
no, it is in the future content. Um,
No, well, yeah.
I'm not sure it's in this update already,
No, I doubt.
or whether it was on the closed beta branch or on the experimental branch. I've seen people stating like, "Hey, it works indeed."
Yeah, well, like I said,
So yeah, it's
it's
stated here in
it's
future content, but it might be active already. I don't know.
yeah, it's just an ordering, but
Uh,
yeah.
And I think
Um,
I think it's a nice one because my solo character, which I
yeah,
play most at the moment,
yeah,
is all the way at the bottom. So I have to scroll my character
yeah.
list.
That's
So
exactly the reason why. Yeah, because
exactly.
it's like yeah, yeah. Um, mhm, mhm,
Lava roads.
mhm.
fire extinguisher, wall mount, inventory,
Mm,
and ability to store fire extinguisher to follow. So we get
mm.
a wall mount where you can put one or more fire extinguishers in.
Yeah, probably just quick access. I don't know if it would just override what other item you're in your inventory, but yeah, I haven't actually seen. I didn't even know there was a fire extinguisher, or it might be a new item bringing in. But
Currently there is one. You cannot
yeah, okay,
repair it, so it's one-time use. Well, one time it has a durability, and once it's like
spent,
fully
it's spent.
used, spent, it's is spent. You
Mm.
cannot refill it.
No, makes sense.
Um, Using steel, oxide of all things, but yeah,
Oh yeah,
not the cheapest item to craft,
no,
and the durability goes down rather quickly.
it's like a normal fire extinguisher.
Yeah. Yeah, not something I get a stack in my inventory to use trying to extinguish a forest fire.
No,
Way too expensive for that.
yeah. Hornet saddle art assets. So more interesting
So which one?
things. Added a Hornet saddle art asset, including static mesh,
Uh,
rescale for meshes, materials, and textures.
well, the Hornet
So
itself has been mentioned before in future
yeah,
content. Again,
so it's
I
just interesting
reckon,
that they're also creating like mount specific items. So that's also pretty cool. So you've got like chairs and weapons and clothing sets, I'm assuming. So it's definitely going to be a very large and cool-ish type
uh,
of expansion that they're going to add in with this thing, by
like
the sounds of
the
it.
the Ice Mammoth armor, the Ape Grenade, the Hornet
Yeah,
saddle, and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's gonna sound, it sounds pretty sweet. So,
yeah.
um, mhm, mhm.
Hey, bunk bed. Two people can sleep in a bunk bed now.
That's pretty useful, but nah, that's
That's
yeah,
nice. So we are getting a bunk bed,
yeah, it's more
and
space
two people can
efficient.
sleep
But
in it. Cool.
yeah, sounds pretty cool. Yeah, adding flamethrower.
Adding a PG version of the "Thank God You're Here" line with removes the vomit
What is this?
to
Added the roof. Yeah.
to underneath the Hornet saddle.
Oh, okay. Down to PG. Which removes the vomit. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Being able to talk whilst not vomiting is also pretty, useful.
Well, I'm so not gonna use this one. I want like the proper version, including
Yeah,
all the vomiting.
yeah,
Yeah, flamethrower indeed. It relies
yeah,
on biofuel to fire, deals fire
yeah.
damage
Which makes
at a
sense. Yeah,
constant rate,
yeah.
mid-range, and it does not set trees or buildables on fire. So you can use it in a
Uh,
forest without setting forest on
yeah.
fire.
Yeah, you see, they just took the fun out of it. You have to burn everything to the ground. That is the purpose of the flamethrower. You make everything run and scream like, away from you because you are death incarnate with a flamethrower. And now it's like you can spray it all over your building and nothing happens. Nah, I would
Uh,
actually want it to be like, the absolute. It's like a rocket launcher. Yeah, if you had a rocket launcher and you shot something in your house, you would blow a massive hole into it and it would destroy your benches and destroy the because it's not supposed to be, you know,
Look
it's
at
you
it
don't want
from
to
the
be.
other side, Karel. Now in co-op, you can safely set your co-player on fire inside the base with a flamethrower without
Oh,
setting the base on fire.
no, but the person can light the other things on fire whilst you're on
Yeah,
fire.
but then you blame the other person for setting stuff on fire. You didn't do it. You set the person on fire, but you did
Uh,
not set the base on fire.
nah, but it's still like the point is like, yeah, fire. So it'll be interesting. It's not going to be a very useful item because fire doesn't really do a lot of damage, or at least the
Uh,
current usage of fire doesn't do a lot of damage.
Scorpion
It
King,
does tick, but
set it
but
on
it takes a
fire.
long, yeah, but it takes a long time. It's if it's
Yeah,
not
but
like you can be like,
it is damage over time.
no, it is. Don't get me wrong, it is, but it's a mid-range item. It depends if it's going to be the same tick for that tier. Then it's just like, yeah, it depends on how it's being,
Boss fights.
what the, like I said, it just depends.
And
But definitely, probably
I'm
would be,
thinking
yeah.
it's mid range, so If you're standing on your beam, you have a polar bear underneath you. Burn it with a flamethrower.
Just the damage is usually so small in comparison to the HP pools that we deal with. But regardless, we'll see.
True, but it is damage over time, so it helps a lot.
Yeah,
I was
that's the way.
actually doing earlier this week. I was on Olympus doing this mission where you had to kill the, where you had to like track the black wolf and then visit it then at night, and then so I had my beam set up.
Definitely at night. At night it
and
would be useful
and
because it actually gives light.
I had a campfire underneath my beams.
Yeah.
So the wolves were coming at me, standing underneath the beam. On top of the campfire, they were set on fire, and it killed several wolves that way. So it is useful.
I didn't say it's not useful. I'm just saying usually versus a shotgun shell to the head, or 2 damage, 2
True.
damage, 3 damage, 2 damage, 3 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage. It's it's you can't compare the two things. So it depends on how much damage gets dealt, whether or not it's stacking with HP, or whether or not it's got a different damage multiplier. Because if it's just a base fire damage, usually large HP pool, especially bosses, it's basically, where is the boss? Oh, he's over there because I see a 2 damage tick and a 2 damage tick and a 2 damage tick. So yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
I don't find that nice.
Yeah, but 30 seconds tick damage still adds up.
Like I said, it is damage.
Yeah.
I'm not denying it. I'm just saying it's not cool the way that flamethrower should be viewed. But either way.
Anyway, fire extinguishers now require water to function, and they can be filled up the same way as any other water vessel. This is useful. So you build a fire extinguisher, you fill it with water, you use it, then it's empty, you refill it, and you can reuse it.
Yeah.
And then with the
okay.
fire extinguisher wall mount, now you can place them around your base. And it's like a one-time cost to craft a fire extinguisher, but they are reusable now. That is helpful.
Makes sense. Yeah, it is. Would also be useful if it's like, because it probably just sprays a decent amount of water. I have no idea how it looks or what it feels like, but yeah, could be quite useful because fire thwackers is still the only way to set out the fire. So, or it's picking up the shrubberies. So,
water bomb.
Yeah, and a water bomb, but yeah, well, like I said, it's pretty cool that they have a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, but yeah, I've tried like putting out forest fire with water bombs, but you need an insane amount of those things. Okay, as soon as you have your open world going, you have like tons and tons of leather, so it should be fine crafting them, but still.
Yeah.
Straps have been added to the new tier 4 water and fuel portable tanks, and the tier 3 as well, I reckon. So they fit more with the world and make sense while carrying, like the straps to put them on your back. Good. Fixed large heater and cooler affecting environmental temperature without being powered on. It was a nice cheese, but hey, like you put it down, you don't hook it up. You put it down and it already you could already use it.
And it says that it was cooling down.
Yeah, for the airco and for the heater, it was heating up until you switch it off and on again. And then if you disconnect it from the power network, it does not work no more. But the initial placement, it worked out like straight away.
Its default state was on.
Yeah, even without power.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind them fixing this bug.
Yeah. It's a relatively cheesy exploit, so power your stuff properly.
Exactly.
But yeah, the rest seem pretty normal.
NPC's dialogue now replicated when people talk to them. So you were like, what were they saying? And then like you talk to them again, and then they kick off their dialogue again. Very good. Like if you accidentally missed what they said.
Yeah.
added bull entries to the data tables, added skinned bull bones asset, so no, new animal, bull. Also, gauntlet weapon prototype.
Yeah, mentioned at the bottom. And it's also like a weapon, a boss weapon thing, because eventually we'll say reduced gauntlet attack cooldowns, gauntlet charge is now always right-handed, light attack is left. So it's like
some extra
probably
status effects to the charge attack, added knockback
yeah.
to the gauntlet charge attack.
So it's some sort of boss item, I would imagine, or some sort of like a melee. Yeah, it's like
A melee weapon, I'd say.
like a knuckle, iron knuckle kind of thing, where it's like not an infinity gauntlet, but like like
Not like the snip and like half of the animals are gone.
yeah, exactly. But no, I would imagine them to introduce, because if you think about it, weapons are and still have been pretty much guns, bows, knives,
Spears.
and spears.
Although I do kill animals sometimes with X or pickaxe as well, just because.
Yeah, but like a sword, we don't have a sword.
Mm,
Yeah, no.
so you gonna
Halberg, we don't have a halberg.
you wanna bring a sword to a
Pike,
gunfight?
we don't have a sword. Yeah, if you don't see me behind you, the thing. You can play the ninja game, a lot of people like playing certain styles, and definitely having a nice long damaging slicing and bleeding based weapon such as a
True,
nice
true.
katana or something would be pretty sweet. So it's just a concept that they could introduce, but it becomes probably very difficult because that means they would probably need to respec the talent trees to like bladed weapons, or and spears would then be pikes and halberds included, or like long range. But it's not really necessary that they need to go into that. But if you think about the vast array of different classes of weapons,
You
and
know
I
what?
mean you have guns,
You
so
know what
it's
I
not probably
want?
going to be.
I want the ability to be able to use weapons when riding a mount. How about that?
Now, realistically, you could. I mean, there's in human history, you've done archery on horseback, and
Oh yeah,
rifles on
very effectively.
horseback, and you've got all exactly, yeah, you've got all that stuff done. So, as a top tier perk, it might be interesting, and it would definitely change the dynamic a little bit here and there.
But not
Uh,
only weapons, but also, for example, your scanner, your ore scanner.
yeah,
Now I have to like stop the mount, get off the mount, check my scanner, get on the mount, travel further,
oh
jump
yeah,
off,
yeah,
check it
sure, I see what you
again.
mean.
If
Yeah,
I'm looking for a
yeah,
specific fine,
yeah,
if you were able to use it whilst riding your mount,
yeah.
that
Just
would
look
make it so
down.
much easier and faster.
No, just from a first person view, just look down or something like that so you could see it beep,
Yeah.
whichever direction. So makes sense. But yeah, that's about it. It seems, at least for me, in
Yeah.
regards to the new features. So fingers crossed that everything goes smoothly this week or next week, basically, for testing on the beta. And if there are large issues, hopefully they're all easy fixes, or else, yeah, rather just delay it by another week. But presume that if they're confident enough to push it to beta, but it's actually a very short beta period.
It
But you said that the people, yeah, it
has
closed
been in
beta for
closed
some
beta
time.
for a while already.
Yeah. So it's pretty much,
And during that time, they have made a lot of changes based on feedback.
yeah, which is expected. I mean, that's why it's there. So
And now it goes into open beta, so bigger tester base. So for the
yeah,
last bugs to
be
surface,
ironed out.
and they can like fix it, iron it out, hopefully. So yeah, with a bit
Yeah,
of luck, next week we will have null sector.
yeah, yes, indeed. And that means, how are your preparations going for it? Because do you have everything in a state somewhere where you want to have things ready to go as the patch gets released, or would you first want to give it a little bit of time?
Well, I
to
do think
finish this.
next week I'll play my Prometheus open world a bit again. You need make a base close to where the opening to the null sector is gonna be,
Yeah,
and stock up a lot of resources there.
yeah, to give you the idea.
And it's gonna be some grindy episodes, cause like hauling back and forth a whole lot of stuff. But
Yeah, at least it would keep you busy and
true.
being as they said, be prepared. So
Oh yeah.
have an idea of what your loadout you want to take in. Have an idea of what pets. I'm not sure if you want to take a pet in either.
I
A
reckon.
companion.
I reckon I'm gonna bring my.
Highest level
I don't
wolves.
know. Either my mower or my horse.
But I'm not referring about mount. I'm referring to about wolves and defenders. And do you want to take two dogs with maybe, or it's a dog?
No,
Because
they're
they
too
can,
slow, man. They can never keep up with my mounts.
yeah, but like I said, are you going to take the mower, or are you just going to take a nice big horse or the buffalo to, take it slower rather than speeding along and taking along more resources? Because yet again, just blitzing across everything and running headfirst into a ton of, mobs and creatures and being like mauled to death by 15 like bloodthirsty Ravager things is going to be
Well,
not as fun as just taking your time, moving through steadily, protecting your mount, having
I'm
track of
actually
everything,
thinking
enjoying the sight,
about speed for
scanning.
initial checking out. Eh?
But remember, you have to scan as well, remember? So you're scanning, you're moving, you're scanning, you're moving, you make a decision, you go this way, you're scanning, you're moving, you're scanning. Oh, you
Hmm?
kill this. Oh, that doesn't mean it's over there. Oh, no, I'm being eaten alive over here. Heal, heal, heal. Okay, I need lots of healing items. Oh, no, I've got a slash, I've got a broken leg, I'm affected. I'm dying of the thirst, of heat, of cold at the same
Eh.
time, and I'm,
Well, I'm
so,
thinking of horse initial for the
mm,
initial exploration. And then once I know where I have to go and where I want to go and where I want to build bases and stuff, then
yeah, what you
switch
could also,
to Buffalo with cart. That's what I
what you can
think I'm
also
gonna
do
do.
is just what you could also do is just take your fastest move, your fastest setup, just a little bit of food, and basically just do a scout run.
Hmm.
Just go in blind. Just keep track of which way you're going. Maybe put like totems down on occasion. So jump off the thing, put the totem down in the direction that you came from, and then carry on running, basically.
Yeah.
So that way you've just got a manual trail behind you. So as you sort of run through the area, the only problem with that is that if you do that and you actually trigger a mission item location where it's like, oh, you suddenly have to save people, and you're like, I'm not really prepared for this.
Um, there's like operations in the null sector or running around in the null sector without any operation active.
Well,
So
that, yeah,
you do a
just
bit
running
of
around because you
exploring.
might have, yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. You might stumble across dynamic mission areas because
I don't
that's
think it's gonna work that way in null sector, to be honest.
I would think that would make sense. To be honest, it's like, hey, you have to save this person now because there is a freaking thing and it is eating the person, and this is your chance. And if you do it, then great. If you don't,
Mm.
yeah,
No, I
it's
reckon you have to start the operation first before they, and I know this, I'm pretty sure about this. You have to start the operation before they even are getting
spawn there.
placed in the world, before they even
Okay,
spawn.
well, yeah, I'm not even sure if maybe you have to start it in order to actually go through like a barricade or something. Maybe that would make
That is
more sense.
possible indeed. That you have
It would be
to
blocked off until you actually start the thing, and then it's like,
exactly.
okay, now you can go in. But then it's the same thing. You can either decide, okay, let me just go for a quick scout run, just run around quick, like, but then, yeah, yet again, you stumble across maybe something where you would want it to be prepared rather
Yeah,
than just
but
blitzing through like a maniac.
I
So,
reckon horse initially causes decent speed, health, and also decent attack, better attack than Moa, so it can defend itself a little bit better. Until I reach like, okay, now I have to do something for someone. Then I go back,
yeah,
load up a buffalo cart, and come in with a lot of resources. because
Yeah.
I don't know what resources I'm gonna need straight away. So a buffalo cart loaded up with what? You don't know what you're gonna need. So
Yeah. So yeah, by all means. But anyway, that's
yeah,
it going to be for me. So
ah,
enjoy your gameplay, and
oh definitely will do.
and I'll try and see about getting my things into a position of fetching it, but definitely won't be in time for the release. So that's I'll catch up with you guys later. But until the next one, have a good one.
Yeah,
Cheers.
thank you. Thanks for being here, and I will see you around, man.
Indeed. Cheerio.
So that's our weekly patch notes discussion. I will take a break, smoke break, and prepare for the subsequent gameplay. Um, Not a whole lot new stuff. I can build a crate, put it down, check the slanted and the flat variants. Um, yeah, use the right mouse button to disconnect benches again. We can check that one easily. I have multiple modules, so we can check that one easily. But it will be further than that because there's not a whole lot new stuff. It will be some normal operation. So I hope you enjoyed watching us going through the patch notes. We do this every Friday. Go through the patch notes, discuss what's it gonna mean. Do we have seen this before? Have you experienced this? Speculation on the future content, always nice. Uh, so yeah, I appreciate you being here. Now, if you did enjoy watching this and want to get notified next time I stream on Twitch, there's the follow button. Or if you watch this on YouTube and want to get notified next time I upload something, there's the subscribe button. A like would be appreciated as well. Other than that, again, thanks for being here, and I will see you folks around.